Solve the following systems of equations algebraically. So I noticed that these two equations, my x's, my y's, the equal signs, and then a number are lined up. So I know that I can use elimination. I'm going to multiply the bottom equation times a negative number, so everything changes sign. That way, when I add them together, the x's will cancel out. Positive and negative x cancel and make a 0. 2y plus 3, or plus 1y equals 3y. And 17 minus 2 is 15. So we get y equals 5. Then we have to plug it back into one of the equations. So I'll plug it back into the first one. And so we get x plus 2 times 5 equals 17. Solve this equation, and we get that x equals 7. So my answer is going to be coordinate point 7, 5. That's where these two lines intersect. In the second equation, I noticed that the variables aren't lined up. The equal sign is off. So I don't want to use elimination, but I do notice that the x is totally by itself on one side. So I can substitute this in for x in the other equation. So I'll rewrite the other equation as 4 times, instead of writing x, I'm going to write 1/4 y minus 1 minus 3y equals negative 10. Now I can distribute the 4. So 4 times 1/4 is just 1 because the fraction is going to cancel itself out. So that's just y minus 4 minus 3y equals negative 10. Y minus 3y is negative 2y. Then I'll add 4 to both sides. Negative 2y equals negative 6. And we get that y equals 3. Now I plug it back in. So I get x equals 1/4 times 3 minus 1. 1/4 times 3 is 3/4. 3/4 minus 1 whole is negative 1/4. So this would be negative 1/4, 3. Create a graph for each of the lines below. You can graph both lines in the same grid. So first I'll create some axes. So a line with a slope of 4 and a y-intercept of 0, negative 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the slope of 4, so I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, and over 1. Here's the graph. If I were to write the equation, it would be y equals 4x minus 6. A line with a slope of 3/2 that passes through the point 5, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the slope is 3/2, so I go up 3 and over 2. I'm going to go down 3, 1, 2, 3 to the left 2. And if I were to write the equation of this line, it would be y equals 3/2x. And then I'm not exactly sure what the y-intercept would be, so I'll just say plus b. If I wanted to find the y-intercept, I could just plug in 5, 7 right here for x and y. 7 for y, and 5 for x, and then solve for b. 3/2 times 5 is 15 halves. 15 halves is 7.5. I subtract that from both sides, and I get that b equals negative 0.5. So the equation of this line would be y equals 3/2 x minus 0.5. All right, diamond problems. Remember, they multiply to make the top and add to make the bottom. Two numbers that add to make 0 and multiply to make negative 16. If they add to make 0, I know it has to be a positive and a negative of the same number. So 4 and negative 4. Multiply to make negative 18 and add to make 7. I know this is negative, so one of my numbers is going to have to be negative. Negative 9 and 2, or positive 9 because 7 is positive, and negative 2. Multiply to make negative 24, so one's positive, one's negative, add to make 5. 8 and negative 3. Multiply to make 20, add to make 9. 4 and 5. Graph the parabola below and find all of its key features. So this is in vertex form. So I know that the vertex is going to be at the point negative 2, 4. So the vertex is at negative 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I know my line of symmetry is right here at x equals negative 2. So the vertex is negative 2, 4. Line of symmetry, x equals negative 2. To find the y-intercept, I need to plug in 0 for x. So y equals negative 2 times 0 plus 2 squared plus 4. Negative 2 times 2 squared plus 4. Remember, you have to square it first and then multiply by negative 2. Negative 8 plus 4. Negative 4 is the y-intercept. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can make the symmetry point right here. So the y-intercept is 0, negative 4. And the x-intercepts, I have to plug in 0 for y. So then I'll subtract 4 from both sides. Negative 4 equals negative 2 times x plus 2 squared. Divide both sides by negative 2, and we get positive 2 equals x plus 2 squared. Then we take the square root of both sides. The square root of 2 is plus or minus 1.4. So now we can split it up. Positive 1.4 equals x plus 2. Negative 1.4 equals x plus 2. So x equals negative 3.4, or x equals negative 0.6. Which makes sense because negative 0.6 would be about right there. And 3.4, 1, 2, 3.4 would be right there. Write the equation of a function that has the following transformations. So it takes the parent graph y equals the absolute value of x and then shifts it up 2 and to the right 3 and flips it over. So remember, the parent function would be the transformed function a times x minus h, the absolute value, plus k. So if we're going to flip it, then the a is going to be negative. So we're going to have y equals negative absolute value of x, shifts it to the right 3. So that's going to be x minus 3. Plus k, shifts it up 2, plus 2. This one takes a paragraph and vertically compresses it by a factor of 1/2, shifts it to the left 5 and down 4. So if we're compressing by 1/2, we'll be at 1/2 for A. X to the left 5, so that's plus 5 squared, down 4 would be minus 4 for K. Takes the paragraph y equals 2 to the x and shifts it down 4. Down 7. So that's just going to be minus 7. The K is minus 7.